My high five.
Inside the 10, head first, he flies inside the 5-yard line. Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Davis gets 19 to McCaffrey with a 19-yard reception. And Terrell again for at least 19 and more than that. Inside the 10, touchdown Denver. All week long, Marty Schottenheimer talked to his...
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
Nothing wrong with Orange and Blue Podcast.
What is up, Broncos country? What is going on? I'm your host, your boy, Dark Knight, Pookie Knight, Word Over World, Isaiah Henderson, whatever it is you want to call me. And with me is Mr. Boggins. Happy Friday, Mr. Boggins. How you doing today?
What's up? Yo, thanks for having me on, man.
This is second week in a row. We appreciate it, man. This is you're doing us a favor, so thank you.
Of course, I'm always here for you guys.
Broncos Viking couldn't join us today. He had something to do with his family, but he'll be with us. He might be with us Sunday, but he'll definitely be with us back on Friday. So, as you guys know, like, subscribe, share, turn on those notifications. We are a Broncos-based, fan-led podcast, and when you watch us, you're part of the NRW Crew. So happy Friday, NRW Crew, and welcome to the podcast. Don't forget that we have Tuesdays of Broncos Talk at 4, 5, 6, and 7. We have the flagship podcast, which is Mile High Roundtable at 4, 5, 6, 7. And also, we have Nothing Wrong with Orange and Blue at 4, 5, 6, 7 every Friday. In addition to that, we have The Neighborhood, which is our pregame show, and it happens every pregame about an hour and a half before every game. So you can come in, join us, exercise those demons with us, and watch us and talk football before the game starts. So in addition to that, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch at MHRT Network. You can follow us on all those social media sites at MHRT Network. So don't forget to go and do that. And with that being said, Mr. Boggins, let's talk Broncos. What's on your mind today?
Man, I don't know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Washington football team. You know what? I think this is an opportunity that we could take. I think we got this game. I am not very I don't think it's going to be like the biggest scoring game in the world. I do think, though, that we have a good opportunity to actually get a win. They have a ton of injuries right now, or at least like did not practice or questionables, and they got Heineke in there playing, who is, meh to say the least. Although he did run almost 100 yards last week. People think he's Lamar Jackson or something, but I think we really have a good opportunity to actually get a W before we start going into tougher games. I think the Cowboys game is going to be real tough. Eagles, we might have another shot. So, what we looking at 5 wins there? 5 wins? Shoot. I think that's looking pretty good. Playoff contention. The Chiefs seem to be like digging themselves deeper and deeper. Let's capitalize on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, on the optimistic side, channeling our inner Dave Full Glassman. I see you, Dave. Yeah, it's definitely doable. It's definitely possible. And it's doable and possible every week. But the question is, can they go out there? Can the coaches go out there and devise a good game plan, offense, defense, special teams? And can the players execute those said game plans? And unfortunately, with the problem we've been having for the past 4 weeks is the coaching and the execution We've been riddled with injuries, destroyed with injuries.
Yep.
And the question is, can the leaders of this team step up and really bounce back? And we haven't had those game-breaking plays, game-breaking turnovers, those momentum swings. It's just been, be dragged along by our leg, and hopefully we can get out of it. But we got Avatar in the house. He says, "What's up, Broncos country? I'm currently wearing my number 59 Josie Jewell jersey. He wore it his rookie year before being able to wear number 47, which was his rookie name. Appreciate you being here, Avatar, as always. Shadow Jacker in the house. He said, we need this W, Broncos. We do need this W for sure. Dave Full Glassman in the house. He says, hola. Dave comes in. He says, I'm becoming more hopeful as this week has progressed. Still having a hard time trying to believe in this team. I'm right there with you. I'm 100% right there with you. It's, as a fan, you're like, oh, yes, I'm hopeful. But, sometimes as a realist, you take a step back and you say, you know what? We've been hopeful about the last 4 games, and we've been crushed the last 4 games emotionally. So, it's like coming out of a bad relationship or being in a bad relationship. You don't want to commit again because you're afraid of getting hurt. But unfortunately, as fans of our team, we just keep going back, and there's nothing we're ever going to do about it.
I mean, it's good to be critical, though. Like, you love your team, right? Like, you want them to do well. You want to see them do well. It's like your own baby, right? You want to see them do well, so you're critical on them sometimes, and then you shoot. I mean, no one wants to see them do well more than us, right?
Yeah, it's a fantastic point. Just because you're critical of something doesn't mean you still don't love it. Correction and discipline is part of love. Avatar says we should be getting Jerry and Albert O back. Yes, those are very, very good news. Jerry Jeudy's definitely come back. We definitely missed him. Albert O's coming back as well. We definitely missed him.
There was a report out that there was a couple reports out today about Jerry Jeudy. One that he took a step back in his process to get back on the field, but all that was he just had a little soreness, and so they had him sit out today. But besides that, I mean, there's been other people that say that he's going to be ready to go. So we're very hopeful that he's out there. He is, despite what Fangio seems to think. Jerry Jeudy is a big time difference maker, and the defense have to account for him.
Yeah, at this point in time, coaches are just saying stuff. They're just spewing crap out of their mouths. And
did you hear what Shermer said?
He said, sometimes we just
don't score
in the first half.
Yeah,
hope not intentionally.
It's like, my God, man.
If you're going to the game with that mindset, hey, sometimes we just don't score in the first half. You definitely shouldn't be an NFL coach, and it sounds like
he should be in concussion protocol. I feel like something's not okay. That's not, you just don't say things like that.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we haven't been scoring the first half. We need to work on that improvement. Other than that, hey, it just don't happen sometimes.
Sometimes you just don't win a game, Yeah,
you just it happens. You just keep that stuff to yourself. That's just
sometimes you just don't keep a job.
Sometimes you just get fired.
Yeah,
come on now, dude. You got to keep some of that stuff. You just keep to yourself. Avatar says, good to see you again, Mr. Boggins.
I was gonna say what's up, man, but I don't know. Avatar, let me know.
KB82 is in the house. What's up, KB82? He says, what's up, fellas? How do you think Denver's O-line will hold up against Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Jonathan Allen? Allen has 5 sacks as a defensive tackle. That's a very good question, especially the Allen having 5 sacks, because we know for our offensive line, the interior offensive line is the weakest link. And the Washington football team were said to have one of the best defense coming in the NFL. They're said to have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. So, we say the same thing. We preach the same thing every single week. Run the ball. Yeah. But unfortunately, I don't know if it's the offensive line, the run blocking scheme, or the play call. We can't seem to just get the ball running. I think, and honestly, the KB82, my opinion, and I'm gonna pass this over to Mr. Boggins. I'm going no huddle for a couple times. I'm gonna gas them out. I'm gonna tire them out. I'm gonna run the ball no huddle, throw the ball no huddle, get them tired, and then just keep running the ball. What do you think? What do you think about this question, Mr. Boggins?
I think they have a legitimate front seven. Especially they got I don't remember if Jamin Davis, one of the guys that was, a lot of Broncos fans wanted, they have him in their interior linebacking core. I don't remember if he's injured currently as well, but either way, they have a very scary defensive line. However, Chase Young, I think, only has like a sack and a half on the year so far, so he is not having the best year. He's not doing quite what they hoped of his second year, but I'm sure he gets a lot of extra attention to make that where he doesn't rack up the stats essentially. So I am a little worried about their defensive line on our offensive line. But one of the things you do to kind of nullify that is get the run game going with some outside zone. But I don't know. Shermer seems to not like that very much, even though we have one of the best outside zone running backs in the league currently in Javonte Williams. So I hope that Shermer really does some good play counting or play calling and accounting for this legitimate defensive line.
No, I agree with you 100%. And, one thing I noticed, especially from last year, a couple times this year, the most successful run plays we run are one outside zones, two, but when we pull a offensive guard in the center or two guards or a guard to tackle, we have great success because, excuse me, guys, I'm still getting over that illness that I had last week. This is the last
Barry White over here.
I hate it. It's been killing me.
You'll never find another win.
But it allows the running back to show its patience and its vision, and then to shoot the gap and get through the hole and get to the second level. Yeah. We haven't been able to get to that second level hardly any. So that's going to be interesting. And unfortunately, the Broncos are a team where you pad your stats. So if Chase Young has 1.5 sacks on the year, based off pattern and history, this is where he gets 2 sacks. Taylor Heinicke, who, this is where he throws for 450 yards, and it's always against the Broncos. Teams pad their stats and have their big games against the Broncos. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Vic Fangio does better with younger quarterbacks in play calling.
Yeah. Hopefully not with the amount of injuries they have on the receiving core too. Like they have a pretty legitimate receiving core with they have Humphreys, they have McLaurin, they have Curtis Samuel, who can't stay healthy to save his life, and new guy De'Ami Brown from North Carolina. I think they have a pretty legitimate receiving core. They're just all hurt right now. I think Logan Thomas also did not practice again, so it's unfortunate. They're kind of in the same boat as us as far as like injuries are kind of just driving us down with mediocre quarterback play.
Especially with a young new quarterback having all his receivers injured, we know exactly what that looks like to have a young quarterback with all the receivers injured, and what the result of that is. Samazing, that's a new name I've never recognized. So Samazing, welcome. I left my beer in the other room, but normally we cheer every new name we see, so no cheer. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the NRW Cruise. Samazing says people want to tank, but I want to see us compete. I haven't seen anybody talk about tanking. I know for a fact, because I know Broncos Twitter, there are people that want to tank, so I believe that. I agree with you. I want to see us compete as well. I don't ever want to see us tank intentionally.
Yeah, and me personally, as I've said it before and I'll say it again, as an off-season simp, I still don't want to see us tank. I obviously want to see us continue to grow in some facet, in some way. Although I do think it's going to essentially crumble during the off season. Like this, all the coaching staff I think is going to be out of there. Ownership, new QB. It's just going to be like a full on rebuild with the young players that we currently have.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. This offseason is going to be it's going to be a roller coaster.
Stuff to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Because last offseason, this previous offseason, so
nothing besides
Jordan Pickens. Yeah, things were slow. He was picking and choosing who he wanted to hire, who we want to sign. So, teams were picking up players like hotcakes, and the Broncos were slow and methodical. I think this offseason we're going to see who George Paton really is. He really has he's had some great signings and made some great moves, and we love that about him. So we're going to really see what he can do. And it's amazing. Also says, I think we'll play much better after the mini bye. I'm hoping so. I read a report today that Teddy Bridgewater isn't 100% again. I think they said he has an oblique injury, but they said he was a full participant. Take that information what you will. I just hope that we went this past 10 days. We
Mhm.
watched film, we studied, we went over the mechanics, went over
Yep.
execution. Maybe Pat Shurmur opened up his playbook. Maybe he threw in some new plays. We just have to hope and see. Come out with the hungriness. Von Miller, I know he didn't practice, and they said it's day to day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play. I wouldn't be surprised if he did play.
Yeah.
I know Jonathan Cooper, Malik Reed's injured, so I believe the edge rushers will be Jonathan Cooper. Who's our other edge? I think Mintz is injured, correct?
Yeah, we have Mintz. Also, not Beverly. What's
Weatherly.
Weatherly. Yeah, we got Weatherly, who is also expected to play. And then Kenny Young is also expected to play. Not necessarily expected to start, but is expected to play.
Is Weatherly an inside linebacker or a pass rusher?
He's outside linebacker. Yeah.
Okay, so he'll get some playing time. I think if Vaughn plays, he may be limited. But we'll see. That's a game. Like they said, that's a game time decision.
Yeah.
I think Kenny Young was a good trade. I think we got a steal. With his comments, I was talking to Johnny about this earlier. I do not disagree with him at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're bummed out that you got traded. I mean, you felt like I don't like how there was a lot of clickbait out there on that he pretty much making it seem like he was ticked off. He didn't like that he got sent to the Broncos kind of thing, which that's not the case. When asked about their record, he said that doesn't matter to me at all. What he was really talking about was the fact that he got traded. Are you doing well? Not really. I got traded. That's not a good feeling, right? Especially when you feel like you're playing well, you worked yourself up when you weren't expected to a certain level, and then you get traded away because of cap reasons. I mean, that's a bummer. You never want to get traded away. So obviously he was bummed out about that. Does it have anything to do with going specifically the Denver Broncos? No. And I think he's going to be a pretty solid player, hopefully. So I'm excited we got him for that.
I think we gave away a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
And we got him and another draft pick. And I agree 100%. Getting traded, coming back from a game or during the week or practice and they say, hey, you're going to Denver. That's rough. That's tough. For anybody, regardless of who you are. That sucks. It's a shocker. Like you said, regardless of record or whatever the case may be. But I think you're right. He is a great addition. He's definitely an inside linebacker that we need. And me and Johnny, I asked Johnny earlier, if he turns out to be legit, because I said we had to, with the trade, we ate up his contract. I think Johnny said he had 2 years left on his contract. So who do we keep? Josie Jewell or Alexander Johnson, Mr. Boggins?
Oh, definitely Alexander Johnson if possible. I think Alexander Johnson. Albright was talking about how much he earned a contract just him being gone. It was kind of like the Dak Prescott effect, right? Where you're like, I want to pay him, but I'm not sure. And then he gets injured, and you realize how much you really needed him, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah. So
Alexander Johnson over Josie Jewell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I would definitely. He's still not too old. I think Alexander Johnson's 29 or 30. 29. I think he's 29.
He's still got some years left, and he's still
and he's a solid in the run game. And he is a very high motor. He's always at the ball. So I think as long as we find a legitimate will linebacker who this I don't expect to really find the future will linebacker in the draft necessarily. So if Kenny Young comes in and he's between him and Browning, I think could potentially have a lot of good potential to be our starting will linebacker next season.
And I agree. I think if this is Kenny Young. Kenny Young was a starter, so he's going to come in and he's going to do what he does. And I think that could actually be a fantastic duo. I believe Kenny Young is younger than Alexander Johnson, correct?
Yeah.
So
he's 26.
Yeah, you got some young linebackers, some veterans as well that can help the younger guys. Justice Sternad and Justice Sternad and Baron Browning as well as inside linebackers. And also, we get to see Weatherly and see if he's if he can get off that edge, create some pressure, and get some sacks for us. Because one thing that we're definitely missing this season is edge, even with Von Miller.
Yep.
We definitely miss pressure from the edge. And that's something that we've been lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And quarterbacks have all day because, Shelby Harris had a great game last week, but that was one guy getting pressure.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy to think about. I saw a stat recently that had Von Miller is like 5th currently in total pressures in the NFL. And I mean, he's being like, he has no one else on the other side besides Malik Reed and sometimes Jonathan Cooper. And Jonathan Cooper seemed to get a lot of penetration last week, but like he's still very, very young and not expected to be like top tier. So like they are definitely double teaming and chipping Von Miller every single chance they get. And he's still getting a ton of pressures. And just because it's not translating to sack totals, he's still having an effect on the game. Absolutely. And in the run game too.
Yeah, he definitely is. And that's definitely something they look at come. All those things take effect come contract time. He's top 5 in the league he's top 5 in the league in pressures. He's a great disruptor in the run game. Yep. So it may not translate to sacks, but then again, they also take into account he's being double teamed almost every play. He doesn't have help on the other side. So I think with Jonathan Cooper, I think he just needs experience and his tools need to be refined.
Yeah,
because I think Johnny and I, like I said, Johnny and I were speaking earlier. I don't think Bradley Chubb will be a Bronco next year.
You don't think Bradley Chubb will be a Bronco next year?
Yeah, I don't think he will be. That's just that's what me and Johnny talked about. I think he's injury prone, unfortunately. We picked up his option. We don't have to pay him. We can I think we can release him or sign him or extend him. And I think with the emergence of Jonathan Cooper, we have Malik Reed. We get to see a little bit of Stephen Weatherly. I think if one of those 3 guys truly emerge for the remainder of this season, I think I don't think Bradley Chubb will come back. That's just my opinion. So everybody has their own opinion, but that's just what I thought. Dave says, tell of 2 months, elation followed by heartbreak. That is correct. And ultimately depression. He says, okay, so everybody's recommending me medication. So thank you guys. Appreciate that. Dave says, excuse me, tanking is never an option for this proud franchise. I agree with that 100%.
Absolutely.
It's amazing says we realistically need to go 7-3 to make the playoffs, but I hope we can get it started with Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I almost passed out when I saw this, but you're correct. That's
it's it's the I mean, it's not to be like pessimistic. It doesn't look good. Like
seeing what we need to do versus the past 4 weeks, that's disheartening, and that makes me sad.
Losing 4 in a row is bad. If we lose 5 in a row, it's like I don't know why you would even.
There's nothing.
I've heard a lot of speculation about waiting till the bye till you get rid of Shermer, but like, why? Like, I don't.
Why keep losing in weight?
Why? Just like change something at least. I feel like if we don't win against Washington, I feel like there needs to be some form of like show from Peyton that. Well, I mean, it's also been talked about that Peyton doesn't necessarily have full call on the whole coaching situation yet, and I don't know if that's just John Elway kind of holding on, or John Elway and Joe Ellis kind of just holding on in their last year. Just kind of like as Peyton kind of like works into his first year as a GM and kind of guiding him along and kind of helping him make calls, like, because that's, I mean, like your first fire of an NFL coach that's a big call, right? So
mid-season especially.
Yeah. So I'm sure he'll make the call when he feels he needs to. But I would love it to be before the bye, but I also don't think necessarily it will be. I don't think Fangio is going to go anywhere till we are either out of playoff contention completely or the complete end of this offseason. Not the offseason, the end of the Broncos season.
I agree 100%. One thing you mentioned, which is important, which was change. And I think the one thing that's bothered me is this is a bunch of prideful men who just want to stick to their guns and either one, don't want to take accountability, or two, don't want to make changes because it would look like a concession. if you fire Pat Sherman, you're or you say, let's say you replace Teddy Bridgewater with Drew Lock, you're conceding that you made the wrong call and you have to make a change midseason. But I think, in my opinion, that's a sign of maturity to me. Hey, I'll admit when I was wrong, but now let's do it. We have an opportunity to do the right thing going forward.
Yeah.
And so the other's like, oh no, we made the right decision. Nothing needs to be changed. We're just going to work at it harder, and that's translated to 4 losses in a row. And we're going to see if changes have been made with the play calls, the type of play calls, the type of plays ran, offense and defense coming up against Washington. Avatar says to you, Mr. Bognes, he says, "Yes, I am a man."
Then I'll say, "What's up, man?"
So we appreciate that. KB82 says Jonathan Allen is getting the production we thought Draymond Jones was going to get.
Yeah, but they also have a lot more on the defensive line to assist in that. They have a lot more for offensive lines to deal with than we currently have. So, like, Draymond's been
fantastic.
He's been looking really good, and I mean, it's one of those things also where you would love to be able to see that with Chubb and Vaughn. Like, we talk about how much we would just like to see Chubb and Vaughn together, but to see Chubb, Vaughn, and Draymond together would just, for like at least 12 games, would be amazing to watch, I think.
And we're so Broncos country is so desperate to see it.
Yeah,
just how fast he gets off the line. Draymond Jones almost gets off faster than Von Miller does, and a lot of times he does. So you take his get off with Bradley Chubb and Von Miller's pass rush, and you get Shelby Harris's hands. Shelby Harris had a great game last week. Broncos country is just desperate just to see the all the pieces come together.
And I mean, we had it once, and he almost set the rookie sack record, and then Vaughn had 13, it was like 12 and a half and 13 or something like that, and it was
it was ridiculous.
And like, imagine in his rookie season, like, imagine what could have been. It's one of those things that's probably going to go down in like Broncos history is like could have like.
Yeah,
oh,
I agree 100%. Denver Gators in the house. What's up, Denver Gator? Nice to see you. He says, what's up, Broncos country? Need a get right game versus Washington football team.
Yeah.
Pat Sherman play calls are ultra soft. No. Is that supposed to be Pat Sherman or Pat?
Charmin, like the toilet paper? Is that the joke? Pat Charmin, like Pat toilet paper plays Charmin soft four-ply. Got it. Understood. Understood. That. I like
Kevin Dandino.
I'm here for it.
New name for me. So welcome. I don't have my beer with me, so cheers to you. My inside sources said Sherman has already abandoned the run game.
Yeah. It's I tweeted this earlier. It's like, remember when we went into the season and we were talking about the quarterback play as if it was kind of second to what we were going to do, which was run the ball and have good defense. Like, that's like all the national media talked about as well. Is like the Broncos are expecting to run the ball and have a good defense. Well, our defense isn't good, and we don't like to run the ball very much. So and God knows we're not relying on a quarterback right now. So it's very interesting to see it unfold. And it's like, so what is the Broncos' identity right now? Do we have one? Do we have an identity? Because
it's called suck.
Okay, that's fair.
Murphy's Law took place. I mean, and we have the team for it. Mm-hmm. So and I've said this 1,000 times. It's supposed to be identical to the Titans. We have the running backs, the duo running backs, to make that happen.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have the high percentage efficient quarterback to make throws when needed, like Ryan Tannehill. We have the receivers to make the plays, and we're supposed to have the defense to really just shut stuff down.
Yep.
But none of it, absolutely none of it has happened. And that's why it's been such a huge disappointment, because in every aspect of the game that we're supposed to excel or succeed at, we have failed at. And so it's to the point where is it the players? Is it the coaches? Do we need to get rid of the players? Do we need to get rid of the coaches? Do we need to get rid of both? We're just out here just, throwing knives, stabbing in the dark, hoping something sticks.
Yep.
KB82 is talking about the run game. He says, unless we have Reisner Poole. Yeah. I want to put Natani Muti in there to Poole in front of Javonte Williams and just run it down their throat. Avatar says Brown and Samuel are out. So our secondary should feast on it. Should feast. Mundungus says Isaiah needs some Dayquil.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I don't even think
Sponsored by Dayquil.
I don't think we
Sponsor?
have
Anybody? No. Okay.
sponsored by Dayquil. That'd be great. I don't think we have any of that. I mostly wouldn't really. I think the only medicine we have here is like ibuprofen or something like that.
No. What you need to do, not to plug a medicine right now, but Advil cold and sinus. You go to the pharmacy, right, and you say I need some Advil cold and sinus, and they go around back and they get it for you, and that stuff is golden.
Meth.
That stuff.
Yes,
is
medicine.
Golden.
Sorry.
Yeah,
wrong.
meth. It's essentially meth.
Yeah, I think we should have tea here. That's normally what.
Theraflu's good too.
Theraflu's really good.
Became a weird like cold remedy pod. Get some borscht. Is that what we're gonna talk about next? Get some like borscht from my babushka.
I think growing up I had this nasty medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Father John or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely disgusting, but it worked like crazy. But it was gross.
Side story, not related to the Broncos. Sorry, but it has to do with this. I went to Ireland once, and I got sick, and I went to this thing called the Lidl, which is like a little convenience store. It's like pretty much what a gas station convenience store is, but there's no gas station. And I went in there and asked him what they had, and I told him I was, I had a little cold or whatever, and he's like, "Yo, you take this stuff," which was pretty much like Theraflu, like you put it in your tea. He's like, the box says only take one every 24 hours, but don't take two. And I was like, that seems sketchy to me. But I did it. And it like reset me for like 5 hours. I was just like in the zone, just like watching movies in my hostel. And then after that, I was completely fine. It was the weirdest stuff ever. I don't know, go to Ireland, ask some guy for some tea type stuff. I don't remember what it's called, but that was the best stuff I ever had.
He said a gas station in Ireland.
Yeah, just go to the gas station in Ireland, ask him for drugs. I don't know.
Yeah, KB82 says Isaiah a beer to soothe his throat. Yeah, it's in the other room. But you're making me want to go get it. Avatar says he corrected me. Thank you for that, Avatar. We got Kenny Young for a 7th. We got him and a 7th round. So appreciate that. Dave Full Glassman says Isaiah Boggs combos quite interesting pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. Wow, chat just jumped. So sorry about that. And I believe someone commented, I think it was Mundungus. Of course he did. He said I said the word penetration. Okay, childish. Dave Glassman says whiskey. Yeah. Except when I'm done with that, it would completely dry the hell out of my throat and I would die. So
well, you do a hot toddy. You ever done a hot toddy?
No, what is that?
It's like kind of like tea with like it's like hot water, a little bit of lemon and whiskey. It's and like a little bit of whiskey too. Oh man, that really a lot of people use it for singing.
Oh yeah, that sounds incredible. What kind of whiskey are we talking about?
Oh, and a little honey too. What kind of whiskey?
Almost like Tennessee honey whiskey.
Yeah, but not.
That sounds good. Thanks, Dave, for correcting me. He says if we pick up the option, the contract is guaranteed regarding Bradley Chubb. Madunga says, does Jerry Jeudy help the offense open up? Yes. 100%. Like Mr. Boggin said, contrary to what Vic Fangio said, absolutely it does. Jerry Jeudy was really good at finding the zone and sitting there. He's very good at getting those deep routes. And Teddy Bridgewater and Jerry Jeudy had great chemistry. And Jerry Jeudy was in for a 1,000-yard plus receiving season. I'm still opposed to the John Brown releasing.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
Because I don't know. But then again, also coaches also believe that Kendall Hinton has done what he's need to do to earn him that slot position on this field, especially replacing KJ Hamler. And I can agree with that. He's had some great catches, some great crunch time catches, and I think he has 1 or 2 touchdowns.
Who, Kendall Hinton?
Yes, I know he has one for sure.
I think he has 1.
Yeah, I know he had
maybe
1.
2.
He's had some great catches.
I just like the top end speed of John Brown. Like
I do too. That's why I was like,
when you watch the tape back, John Brown was open a couple times, but shoot, like unfortunately Teddy doesn't have the arm for it, and when he was injured, he definitely couldn't step into anything. So, and like there was a multiple different things that were not in his favor as far as like not being able to step up because of his injury. also not being able to step up because of the offensive line.
Correct.
And so like, so, I mean, would we have been able to really utilize John Brown? Probably not, but I am really glad we're getting Jerry Jeudy back. Him on just slants in general are a fantastic option to have. Like everyone, people were talking about having to plan for Jerry Jeudy before he even started a game in the NFL. Like everyone knew that he was a insane route runner. And it's crazy to me. I always thought, because he's got like little skinny legs, his routes are so tight, I thought he was going to break his own ankle at one point. You know what I mean? I thought he was just going to like step one way and just like, but
because he moved,
some guy
fast.
rolled him up, but
yeah.
I'm just glad he's back. And I think he will hopefully be at least like 85-90% out there. I think he'll definitely make a difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Pat Shermer, I'm definitely doing some play calls to get number one Teddy Bridgewater into the game, but also Jerry Jeudy.
No,
also play calls designed for Jerry. Get him warmed up, get them both, get their timing back, get Jerry get his confidence back, let Teddy get his confidence back. No. And what that does is they're gonna have to bring. Honestly, they're gonna be at a nickel or dime or linebacker covering Jerry Jeudy. And what it's gonna do is, because of his route running ability and his quickness, they're gonna have to double team him. That opens up Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton.
No, Shermer doesn't like mismatches. Shermer does what Shermer does. You understand me? Shermer does what Shermer does. And what Shermer does is what Shermer does. He's in the Vic Fangio and Pat Shermer are definitely the type of coaches where they're like, if it's not working, it's because you're not executing. It's not that I have to change my play to my players' talents. Can you imagine if a linebacker actually did line up against Jerry Jeudy? Like that defensive coordinator on the other side would. You
like
don't have a job tomorrow.
Yeah. You definitely have to have safety over the top. And that definitely opened up. Noah Fent also had a big game last game. Noah Fent had a good game last game, and that definitely hopefully brings his confidence back. Alberto's coming back, so we definitely have some weapons coming.
What happens
back
when you throw to them?
Yeah, and you spread it across. You spread the ball across the field. And you make the defense play your game. Mm-hmm. You make them play on your turf. Yeah. And your game. It's like boxing. You don't play into you don't fight. You don't box the other opponent based on their scheme. You make them play you, and that's when you have the home field advantage. Avatar says definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result, and our coaches are bat crap crazy.
Yep.
Denver Gators says Ricola.
I get it.
Yeah, I wish we had cough drops.
It's 2021 and I still get it. I don't think I've seen a Ricola commercial since 15 years. When's the last time you saw a Ricola commercial?
I saw one not too long ago, but it wasn't like an official commercial. I think somebody was just using it for a meme or something. Uh-huh. Yeah. But they still sell them and they still work. It's amazing. Says I was watching the Packers and Cards game last night. It's so creative how they mix in the quick passing to supplement the run and slow down the opposing D line. And that's exactly what I was saying when I said the no huddle. You mix in the quick pass and the run, and you get that defensive line tired. You get them exhausted. You run no huddle. You go quick pass, play action, run, quick pass, play action, throw it over the top, take a deep ball, come back, run. Mm-hmm. You get them tired. You get them breathing hard.
I mean, I've mentioned it before, like when I think it was like a couple of years ago when we played the Raiders, and we were so excited to see Chubb and Vaughn and just like demolish that offensive line. But what did the Raiders do? They had a lot of quick passing schemes set up, and so they didn't give Vaughn a chance to even get there. Like stuff like that. Like you plan for it, and you have like it's like Shermer heard the fans complaining about him not doing a screen, and so he did a screen like every other play last week.
Yeah, he ran like 7 of them back to back.
He's like, I understand. Okay, let me do a screen.
Compensated. Yeah, I'm like, all right, dude. Chill out.
Like, my goodness. Like just every once in a while, I would like a screen. Yeah, but not every.
Maybe a wide receiver screen now that Jerry Jeudy's back, but you don't have to do a tight end screen every third play. But yeah, that's exactly what we need to do is get that D line tired out, especially when you have Chase Young and a pass rush like that. You get some quick plays. Don't even get them by the time they get off the ball and the tackle puts their hands on them, the ball should be out. Don't even give them an opportunity to. That's the thing that I haven't seen is, people say Teddy Bridgewater's holding the ball too long, which he is. The offensive line isn't holding up, which it isn't. But at the same time, if that's the case and you know that, game plan for that.
Yeah,
Just put that in there.
I think Albright was saying though, I don't remember if it was this game or last game, they had like third highest amount of time in the pocket. Like Teddy was just not getting rid of the ball. I don't know if it was just like he just like hesitating for a long time. I don't know if he's just like he has to be sure. That's why he has such high completion percentage. Is like he does a lot of shorter passes, which I think Zach Seegers was the one that posted recently. Actually, between him and Drew Lock, the stats are actually very similar as far as like throws underneath
55.1 and 54.1.
They're very close. And so like to say that Teddy throws the short a lot more is not quite accurate. So
I think it's just that he definitely throws floaters when he throws deep, but I think it's
he doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have the same arm as Drew. Like that's not no one's questioning that.
He's missed a couple deep balls. And I think a lot of people, and I've seen this before the concussion, him holding the ball too long. I mean, he'd step up and manipulate the pocket very well and get rid of the ball and find a receiver. Now it's like since he got back from the concussion, he hasn't been the same.
Yeah, but like this dude has been hit in the head a lot. Like
I was falling off, and
I don't know if it's necessarily like him being scared or if like I think if you're gonna go that route, you have to go like two different ends of the spectrum. Like if he's scared because he's been hit in the head so many times, or if it's like really affected him finally because he's been hit in the head so many times. I think he got knocked out like multiple times.
I think it's in the middle. I think he's not. I mean, you always have that. I mean, that's what the quarterback's intuition, where you feel that defensive lineman or that edge rusher coming in, you step in the pocket. That's a type of fear that you feel. You're like, okay, I can feel him coming at me, so I'm going to step up. But at the same time, I mean, I remember that game where his helmet kept coming off over and over and over and over and over again. That takes a toll, and then a concussion that takes a toll. And believe it or not, sometimes that you don't fully recover from that, or everything's not always there. I'm not saying that's the case, but there's something going on with him where he's holding the ball too long. Yeah. He's definitely floating the balls, and you can't. I think at this point in time, that doesn't change. I don't think in the offseason, Teddy Bridgewater goes with a quarterback coach and throws 65 yards on a line. That's not who he is. I don't think that's going to change. And I think that's also frustrating with some of our receivers like Cortland Sutton or Tim Patrick, where they're definitely beating their DB, and a floater sometimes give the defensive back an opportunity to catch up. Or he floats it so bad he misses him. So that's definitely an effect. Amazing says, I definitely think Jeudy will help our quick passing. Yes. Jerry Jeudy is very good at finding the zone and sitting in it. Especially with Jerry Jeudy, they're not going to want to play much man. They're not going to want to play much man with Jerry Jeudy. So that's where he's going to be able to sit in the zone and just sit there. And one thing we've definitely missed from Jerry Jeudy is run after catch. And that's one thing he's really good in, is run after catch. And you're definitely going to see his young body recover quick. And you're definitely going to see when he gets the ball, he's going to darn do what he does and get run after catch immediately. That's just who he is. And we're definitely excited to see that.
That's another reason I wish we would have kept John Brown. Is like I'm not like Kendall Hinton does not like get me excited when I talk about like yak yards. You know what I mean? Like that's not really his game. Like that's not Cortland's game. That's not Patrick's game. That's Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler game. But John Brown would have given us another option at being able to like get him the ball, watch him go. Like I don't even know why we don't do that with Deontay Spencer. Like Deontay Spencer, he doesn't have the best hands in the world. Just get him the ball. Like be creative. Get him the ball. Watch him move. Like
reverses and
do something. Like we need the speed out there. We need to at least make him more of a threat, even if he's not really. You know what I mean? Make him seem like a threat that they got to figure out. Then
because
like,
I mean, if he's
not there,
if he's not, getting these massive punt returns or massive kick returns, use that speed for something. And I agree with you 100%. He may not bust the top open, or he may not get 15 yards in a reverse, but make him think he will.
Mm-hmm.
Have some fakes where he comes sprinting across, and you give it to him every once in a while, in a motion where he can use his speed to find a hole and get 7-8 yards, and let him break the one out in the open. Let the team see, oh crap, this dude's fast. Let them adjust their game plan, whether you plan on using it or not. Big E Bronco, this is a new name to me. Welcome, Big E Bronco. And he says, and run the damn ball instead of play action pass. I agree 100%. Unfortunately, I think with the play action pass, one, like you said, our run game hasn't been effective to really lead the play action pass. And two, because we haven't had Jerry Jeudy or that breakout speed on the offense, teams have been able to play man and really clench down on our receivers and tight ends in the play action. So that's where Teddy Bridgewater holds the ball too long and they get a covered sack. But with Jerry Jeudy and Albert O coming back, that the play action definitely opens up. And if Jerry Jeudy's come back from injury, Albert O's come back from injury. If I'm Pat Shermer, I'm like, you know what? Let's run the ball more times than we pass on this first drive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let our guys get their legs underneath them. Let's let them get used to blocking. We'll do a couple passes, get their confidence up. And definitely what people don't understand is running the ball boosts the confidence of your offensive line. That allows your offensive line to get in the trenches, to use those big bodies, the strength they're training, and to really push. And when you get 6-7 yards on a run, that boosts the offensive line confidence. They're in the game now. They're ready to go. They're picking up their running back. They're running back to the line. Or no, they're saying, hey, run that play again. Run that ball again. Hey, I'm killing this defensive tackle on my side. Run to my side. Hey, pull me so I can blow this dude up. Let's get some pancakes. Running the ball boosts the confidence of your offensive line. So that way when you turn in the pass protection, they're already confident. There's all these things that need to be done to get the receivers, the offensive line, the running back, basically the whole offense, their confidence needs to be brought back.
Absolutely. And especially because we have, I don't know, I actually don't know when we're going to have Mike Boone back, but like we have so many solid running options that we just don't utilize, and I don't understand why, or I don't know. If you'd ask Fangio, it's that we don't get enough, then we have to convert. It's just like I don't know why you would go away from that, especially when last game we were in the game essentially the whole time. Like we were within 7 points a majority of the game, and that to me doesn't say you need to start just like passing it every down. You know what I mean? Like
what did we play last week? I am blanking out because
who we played.
Dog, yeah, I can.
We played the Browns.
That's what happened. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the game, and we let it back.
Yeah. They had. Yeah, we were in the game except for Dearness Johnson decided to have the game of his life in his first start. I remember he had one time. I think he was as the backup, but he was like very solid. So I wasn't like that surprised. But at 180 something yards, like
we definitely missed our inside linebackers.
Oh yeah, that's what Alexander.
And, what's the guy's name? Mike. Who was the other linebacker that played? I'm blanking out on his name.
For what? For the Broncos?
Strnad. Yeah, that played with Justin Strnad last week. It was he got injured and we placed him on IR. I can't think of his name.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
oh, no.
Michael Kaiser.
Thank you. Yeah.
They were over pursuing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why the cutback lane was wide open every time. That's why he got, we were in the game with a minute and something left, and minute and 10 left, and it was like 3rd and 9.
Yeah.
They run the ball and get 12. So what happened was they would see, the offensive line would shift right. They'd all go right and block. And so the linebackers would over pursue to the right.
Mm-hmm.
That weak side linebacker would not stay home. And then they would over pursue, and then he'd just cut back and get yards every time. So it'd have to be a DB or safety coming down to try and make that tackle 8 yards after they already got.
Like I have said before, Strnad gets put on skates, and it's kind of rough to watch. Like he's quick, he's athletic, but shoot, man, he bites hard on things, and just like he's like those videos you see on like TikTok. Is everybody's like, oh, because his
Yeah.
ankle got broke. That's what he looks like.
He needs experience, and he needs that veteran. Having Alexander Johnson next to him really helped his improvement and his player development because when you're the play caller coming off a season where you were out the entire time, not only are you calling the plays, but then also you have to be able to read the plays and read the offense.
Yep.
So Alexander Johnson, some of that stress was taken off of him. You know, he had Alexander Johnson to calm him down. Hey, make sure you keep an eye on this. Hey, watch out for that. Now it's just him doing it. He has to try and take what he's learned as a professional and apply it. Unfortunately, he's not ready. I mean, he has to be ready, but he's not there yet. And he's definitely got some work to do. Dave Glassman says the concussion has neutralized Teddy's advantage over Drew. Brain power. I hope not. That's scary. I was saying the same thing, Dave. We just said the same thing. He says Deontay can't return a kick. Maybe he can run a reverse or a jet sweep. I'm thinking the same thing. He's not doing well in the return game. I
mean,
not at all.
There's not many that are doing well in the return game. Like they since the kickoffs have changed. Like they don't get opportunities very much. Punts, you don't get a lot of opportunities. So the play and our coordinators trash. So I mean, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. I don't even like the fact that we used a roster spot on someone that is just strictly a returner. So
what happened with John Brown is there's a roster spot between him and Kendall Hinton, and they chose Kendall Hinton over John Brown, which I understand. Maybe you could have replaced John Brown with Deontay Spencer. I don't know. That way we would have had John Brown on the 53. We would be able to use him on the offense as well. That's just my thinking. So not only is Deontay Spencer can't really catch, but he's all right at returning. John Brown would be all right at returning, and he can catch. So I think you get more from John Brown. That's just me. I'm at the GM. KB82 says, should we try some trickery with our special teams, or do we think we would just mess it up and then turn the ball over?
We would mess it up.
We have no confidence in our special teams whatsoever.
Just get through. Just catch the ball. Like just catch the ball. Like hope it goes in the end zone.
We have zero confidence.
Let's get through the season. We don't need to complicate things. It's already bad.
Now, if it was a big game where this is a make or break game and we have to win, maybe I guess would Washington football team be a make or break game? I mean, it's been like that almost every week. So, at this point in time, send it.
I mean, if we lose to Washington, we're in real mode. Like we are probably done for the season.
Yeah, we're done for this season. Excuse me. Yeah, because this is this is the game we're supposed to win. They don't have their receivers.
Yeah.
They're definitely going to rely on their defense, heavily on their defense. This is of a young quarterback. Historically, Vic Fangio does better against younger quarterbacks, but it seems like when he plays good teams, he gets the crap out coached out of them. So hopefully,
KB82 was saying that his trickery special teams comment was referring to his post on Facebook that I commented on earlier. It was some I don't remember what college teams it was, or was it high school? I don't know. Anyways, it was just a crazy trick play on kick return that like you had to watch a couple times to see where the ball actually went. It was very impressive. Do I think that Tom McMahon could have the team execute that? No, I don't. I trust those high schoolers more. Bring in that high school coach to coach the Broncos special teams. I'll take it.
That is funny. He said, "Nope, I trust that high school team more." I'm trying to pull up Pro Football Reference for the statistics and the comparison for the Washington football team this week, but this website is always finicky. But yeah, this is supposed to be a confidence game. This is a confidence game and I've said that word a lot. This is
Knocking on
definitely a
wood.
confidence. Yeah, this is a confidence game for our defense and our secondary, especially for Justin Simmons. It's mainly for Justin Simmons in that secondary. Ronald Darby get his feet back. Last week was his first game back from injury. He didn't do bad. There's a couple plays, where he had to come from behind, or a couple passes were caught on him. Ronald Darby did not play bad. Definitely better than Kyle Fuller. Definitely better than Kyle Fuller. But he's on a 3-year contract. He didn't play bad. Patrick Surtain is locked down. Kareem Jackson is actually doing really good this year. Kareem Jackson is actually doing better than Justin Simmons this year.
Hard disagree.
Okay, I'll take that. In my opinion, I think he's doing better. Justin Simmons also, let me give Justin Simmons credit. He's playing from behind. He's playing catch up, not for fault of his own. He's just our cornerbacks were getting beat so bad that he'd have to come out of nowhere and try and play catch up. I will say that. So here we have Pro Football Reference. Let me know, Mr. Boggins always asks the other guy if this looks good. Because on my end it looks zoomed in, but to others it may not. Excuse me. Does that need to be zoomed in?
I can't see anything.
There we go. Let me add it to the stream.
No, that looks good.
Okay. So their home record is 1-3, ours is 1-2. The total record is what are they? 2-5. We're 3-4. So we're clearly the better team. We have just dropped precipitously and fell off the map. Just completely fallen off the map. Our points scored per game, they're 22nd, and we're 24th. We're in the bottom portion of the league in offense. Nothing has changed from the last year's, and that sucks. I don't know how. In points allowed per game, Washington is last in the league. They allow the most points. I don't know, but we're fourth. We're top 5 in points allowed.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like high scoring games. Like our defense has been able to hold, like the Browns only scored 17, Jets didn't score anything. The Jags also got 13 or 14, I think. Giants around the same. So it's hasn't been high scoring games at all. So I'm not surprised that they're there. It's kind of one of those stats where it just depends. It's still a loss, right? Our defense has been holding teams to under 20 points a majority of the season, but we're still losing games.
We're not scoring. So as we can see, the takeaway differential, we're tied. For some reason, this stupid website. We're tied 23rd. -3. For some reason, we just fell off the map in takeaways and turnovers, which means we give away the ball three times more than we take the ball away.
And Fangio's defense has never been high on turnovers, which is really it's just everything is kept underneath. You're trying to stop. And so that doesn't produce it. We're not running a bunch of tight man, a lot of blitz packages, which are subsequently what usually enact turnovers. So
exactly.
That's just not Fangio's style.
And the personnel we have thrives in a quote unquote Wade Phillips defense. That's why that 2015 Broncos defense was so well, because he sent the pass rush, he sent the blitz, and he trusted his secondary.
Yeah, we also had healthy players.
Yes, the secondary was, our secondary was actually healthy. Justin Simmons, Patrick Surtain, Bryce Callahan, who's having a great year, staying healthy. Ronald Darby's back. Kyle Fuller was there, so our secondary is actually healthy. It's our pass rush, and I'm not an NFL coach, but if I'm running the defense, I'm thinking, hey, our pass rush needs help. Send a blitz. Make the offensive line try and pick up a blitz and let me get a one-on-one on the outside. Let me get a one-on-one on the inside. And like you said, one, that's where sacks come from. Two, that's where turnovers come from. And Vic Fangio's had a blitz. I mean, actually, we're one of the top 3 teams in the NFL that blitzes. Our blitzing just hasn't been successful. It's just everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Murphy's Law. Passing yards per game. They're 22nd, 230. We're 16th. That's actually directly in the middle. 241 passing yards per game. I mean, but with Teddy Bridgewater, we don't, that's what we expect. We don't, I think he's only had one 300+ yard game. We lost. Rushing yards per game. This is disgusting. There's no reason why we should be 18th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. You have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. There's no reason whatsoever we should be 18th in the NFL in rushing yards per game. That is strictly offensive coordinator. That disgusts me. That pisses me off more than anything on here is that we're 18th in rushing yards per game. We have one. Actually, you know what? No, you know what? I'm biased, but I'll say it. I think Javonte Williams is the best rookie running back out of this draft. I mean, Najee Harris tore us up. Michael Carter's all right. Travis Etienne, I'm not sure how he's doing.
He's not playing.
Yeah, and we're 18th. So that's disgusting to me. And they're 22nd. So as we can see, their defense gives up plays. So this is where, having Jerry Jeudy back definitely helps. Having Albert O back definitely helps because their defense isn't good at all. Mm-hmm. They're 22nd in giving up passing yards, defensive passing yards. They're last. They're last in defensive passing yards. They allow the most passing yards in the NFL. And one of the things, and they allow the most points. So they allow the most passing yards and they allow the most points. I don't know if the coaches look at this beforehand. I don't know if they look at things like this, the comparison. But if I'm looking at this, I'm game planning all week to match this. I'm exploiting these weaknesses. If I see that they give up a lot, they're last in giving up yards, I'm talking to Teddy. I'm like, hey, you good? Hey, we're going to open up the playbook this week. Hey, we're going to beat him deep. We're going to try and put up 30 points. We haven't put up 30 points all season. Defensive, the stupid thing. Defensive, I think it says defensive passing yards, defensive rush yards, they're 10th. And I believe it said we're 8th. So we're evenly matched. Defensive passing yards, we're 10th. So we're top 10 in passing yards, defensive passing yards. We're top 10 in defensive rushing yards. And we're top 10. We're top 10 in points allowed. So when it comes to our defense on the season, we're still top 10. I mean, we're losing. It's not our defense isn't playing the way we want them to. We haven't got that many turnovers. We fell off, but in every aspect of statistically, every aspect, we're top 10.
Yeah. As far as KB82 asks on the rushing attempts, I think we're like 22nd in rushing attempts. So
that's we're 22nd in rushing attempts and 18th in rushing yards. That's pathetic. That is pathetic. Defensive rushing yards per game, they're 10th. So, both of our defenses, even though we got clobbered and we miss our inside linebackers, we're still top 10. We allow just under 100 rushing yards per game. That's still good. I think Kenny Young's definitely going to help stipend that. Stephen Weatherly as well. I think this week and a half off has helped Justice Sternad as well. Sit down, watch film, understand his assignment. So we just need to start playing like it. Our offense should be top 15. Our defense should be number 1. And weaknesses like this should be exploited. We understand that their defensive line is good, so running the ball is going to be tough. Run it anyway.
Yeah.
Shatter if they're 10th in rushing yards allowed a game. Shatter their confidence. Destroy their confidence. Absolutely. I don't care what you're ranked. We're gonna get over 100 yards per game of rushing yards this game. I don't care who you have on your defensive line. My offensive line and my running backs are better than your defensive line and your linebackers.
Yeah,
That should be the mentality coming to the game.
I don't remember how much we ran against, like, wasn't it like 16, 18 or something like that, rushing attempts during last week when we had a quarterback that was apparently 75% good. Like, I just don't know what we're doing anymore.
Yeah, right. I mean, a quarterback's at 100%. So you'd say, okay, Javonte Williams, offensive line, Melvin Gordon, we're going to put this load on your back and you're going to carry the team. We're going to run the ball. It's going to be old school. It's going to be time of possession. We're going to get them tired, and you're going to carry the team. Okay, got it, coach. Instead of like, Teddy, you're 75%. Go out there and throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I want at least 20, like 20 a game. Give me 20 a game rushing attempts. Like we don't have the offense to make up for anything if we don't have we're trying to play this like pass first offense, but we aren't built for that right now. Like, we don't have the quarterback for it. We don't have the pass protection for it. How you win these games is by running the ball, and we aren't doing it. And
why pick up Melvin Gordon and draft Javonte Williams if you're not going to run the ball?
I mean, yeah, you also don't want to pay Melvin Gordon another contract. So I understand that, but like we need to run more. Absolutely.
Biggie Broncos says we ran the ball 12 times last week. Avatar says we had 14 rushing attempts against Cleveland. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's close to your 20. In my opinion, 20 is enough. I'm saying 27 to 32.
30. I don't know about that. That's a lot. That's a lot. But I mean, he probably, so if we're only doing 12 to 14, then Teddy had to have thrown,
I think it was
probably 35, 40.
Yeah, I think it was 40 something. Biggie Broncos on the fan today, they said 12 times. Okay, we ran the ball 12 times. That's even worse. 14 at least gave us 2 more and close to 6 away from 20 rushing attempts, like Mr. Boggins said.
Mm-hmm. Between us in a committee too. Like, it's not like you have a bell cow back that you're feeding 12 times or 20 times or whatever. You're splitting reps. Like,
so they're healthy.
So they're fine. Yeah. They're not going to get tired out.
We should be tearing these teams up in the run game.
Yeah.
They should because Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams are very different running backs.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to call your defense differently when each of those running backs are in the game. And we should be substituting them so fast the defense can't call play.
And it's really funny because like our young, like, you get these young offensive linemen who, like, pass pro is the hard part of learning the offensive line, right?
Yes.
Well, if you have them in there, like, you have someone as strong as Muti who apparently can just throw people around. Right. You put him in there for a run game, which then opens up your passing game.
Exactly.
So I don't necessarily understand exactly what Shermer's. Like I said, I don't think they have an identity. Like, Shermer doesn't have an offensive identity. It's just not working.
Like I said earlier, I don't know if teams are big into. I know teams aren't. They like the continuity on the offensive line, so this really wouldn't work. But I mean, just imagine just rotating your guards out on. No, it would give it away. It wouldn't work. But I mean, just having Tani Muti. Imagine you had Tani Muti at guard and Javonte Williams back there, and you pull and you ran it, and you let Tani Muti get out into the open and just bulldoze people. Just have him and Garrett Bowles or him and Bobby Massey just bulldoze people out in the open. Just let Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon use their vision and their talent and just break through.
Or we just do what all of Broncos country wants us to do and bring Peyton Manning back, and Peyton Manning can play offensive line.
That'd be great.
Peyton Manning, he does everything. It's fine. He can play guard for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. He'll do center. He'll be center. He'll just tell exactly what to play. He'll just like look at whoever's playing zero tech directly in the face and just be like, "You're about to do this, aren't you?" Freaking Peyton Manning.
You see that
you ate this for lunch.
The virtual thing. I think was it a high school video game or a college video game? And he comes in at quarterback. He has the virtual goggles on, and he's looking around. He's like, "Oh, he's like, is there a running back behind me?" He's like, oh, cool. And he starts calling out the mic, and it's like the first play throws like a 65-yard post touchdown. It was ridiculous. It was cool. When Douglas comes in, he says, we are fourth because our offense is on the field so long they limit the amount of times the other team has to score. Not their idea of stopping them. Correct.
Our offense is on there. Our offense isn't.
Well, overall for time possession, we hold the ball so long that the other team doesn't have that many opportunities to score.
We have
he is right. Our defense is not stopping them.
We're like one of the highest ranked, like 3-and-outs. I feel like
our third down conversion. You talking about on third down?
Just like we don't have much time of possession because we can't keep the ball on offense.
Yep,
we can't convert.
That's correct. And I think they said this week that I actually like their game plan this week. They said they were focusing more on first and second down, because first and second down is what gets you those third and shorts. And I actually agree with that scheming, because if you drill in your head first and second down, and you get 33, 3rd and 4, that shortens your playbook. It shortens and opens up your playbook. You can do anything you want on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. But when you're at 3rd and 9, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 11, there's only so many things you can do, and all the team has to do is back up, put their heels on the first down, and just let everything in front of them. Don't let anything get behind them, and play everything in front of them. And that's what they're focusing on this week. That's what they're focusing on this week is, hey, we get more yards on first down and second down. We don't have to worry about those 3rd and long. We can stay on the field longer. And that's really good. And I applaud the coaching staff for implementing that type of scheming.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just like to get a first down in general. I don't care whether it's on first or second or third down. They need to stop calling play like for these limited plays that they have on third down. When it's 3rd and 9, they're throwing 5 yards. It's just like.
Now is he checking?
Shermer just
talks in because
circles.
No one's open. Is he checking down because no one's open? Or
not necessarily. I mean,
I've seen a couple film where somebody was open and Teddy just didn't see him. He missed him. No fan was open on a deep end at one point in time. So is it checked down because they're guarding our receivers so well, or
there's no like one answer for that? Like it really depends on the scheme, what the read is. If it's it's inside out read, sometimes it's like sometimes he does panic. Like sometimes Teddy panics or if he has pressure in his face or whatnot, he'll check down. He'll go to the short when he had someone wide open in a crossing route. Like he's missing it. Shermer also has been calling the same play like 3 or 4 times during a game because it's a weird because it's like you can't really tell if he's trying to have if that's like because it worked before or if he's trying to get Teddy to do a certain thing. Like if he's trying to this was open. Okay, we're going to run that again next series because it was open and they do it again. He was still open. Why didn't you throw it? You know what I mean? So it's hard to kind of tell, but they do run the same plays sometimes or multiple times. And that was kind of interesting. Kind of makes you wonder it makes you wish you were fly on the wall there.
Yeah. Biggie Bronco says, and also said Jerry Jeudy was head out of practice today.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mr. Broggins mentioned earlier, he might have came in late. He had some soreness in his ankle, so they just held him out. He'll have today to recover and tomorrow to recover, and he'll be good to go Sunday. One thing I definitely want to see that we have not seen, and this pissed me off, was this the Cleveland game? Was no huddle. There was zero. I mean, I was hot. No. Was the Cleveland game? It might have been the game before that. When there needs to be,
you were asleep during the Browns one. Remember you said that?
I was sick. I was laying on the couch watching it, but I was sick. I was sick as a dog trying to watch the Broncos. No sense of urgency.
No.
There's no sense of urgency. I mean, it's when we're trying to come back, and it's the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left. We're down 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Why are we huddling every play?
Time management has never been Fangio's strong suit. And I just don't know if he necessarily understands it a lot of the time. It's real weird because, as a fan, you assume that you know less than the coaches, and you do know less than the coaches. However, it kind of becomes a party real quick when you're at home. Like wait, why aren't we calling a time? Why aren't we calling timeout? Why is the clock still running? Why are we doing this? And like, maybe I'm crazy. And then the announcers are like, why isn't he taking the timeout?
Right.
Why is it shouldn't he be taking it? It's like, so I'm not crazy. They're thinking the same thing. And then it shoots over to the sideline, and you see all the other coaches like, why aren't you taking the timeout? You know, you should probably be better. You know what I mean? You should probably, I don't know.
And it's at some point in time, as if Teddy Bridgewater is the leader of this team, I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is the leader of the team. I think Von Miller is. But if Teddy Bridgewater is the leader of the offense or a leader,
I'd say Justin Simmons is the leader now. Yeah.
I agree with that. And I'd say on the offensive side, I'd probably say Cortland Sutton and Garrett Bowles, in my opinion. But if Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback and Vic Fangio's sticking with him, at some point in time, Teddy Bridgewater is like, you know what, coach, let me take this. Let me run no huddle for 25 yards down the field. Let's get them tied and we can huddle up down the. At some point in time, that's one thing I definitely miss about Peyton Manning. Was he would change the whole play at the
pre-snap
at the line of scrimmage. I see motions. I see calling out the mic. I see calling out blitzes, but I'm not saying a change in play. I'm just saying, hey, Pat Shermer gave me this play. I'm going to call this play. We're going to call it the blitzes. We're going to do some motions, see the defense they're running, and then we're going to go for it. I'm not seeing really any creativity from the quarterback side. And if he's supposed to be the guy, the guy, you've got to think he's got some type of autonomy.
Well, I mean, one, you're not going to see like a ton of
not
creativity from Teddy, because like it's just still his first year. So like stuff like you see Aaron Rodgers does takes a lot of chemistry to be able to look at a guy, give him a little signal, and he knows that he has an option to, based off of if you have press or not, or if you're getting cushion, to either run a stick or you're gonna go. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that takes a little bit of time. As far as pre-snap stuff, it's sometimes hard to tell, because I mean you do change the plays a lot. Like you just don't necessarily see it. Like alert, you're changing essentially the offensive line, what they're doing, because you're alerting for a blitz, or you kill a certain play to go to another play. Like there's usually a lot of the times they call in the huddle like two plays, and so you either you're switching between the two. So I don't, there's not a lot of like full on like whole chain. Like you don't see a lot of what Peyton used to do, where he'd go to the line like in like pistol formation, and all of a sudden he's spread out back into shotgun.
Yeah, he completely changed everything.
That's
what
you're not.
I'd like.
You're not. I mean, but he's not Peyton Manning, right? And he's not Peyton Manning. When Peyton Manning or Tom Brady is in an offense, that's them. You know what I mean? Like you have the coach that is there that they work with, for sure, but that offensive coordinator obviously has the most trust in the world in the player on that field, and they're going to be making those adjustments and doing what they do
Tom
best.
Brady and Peyton Manning, their offensive coordinators are like speed limit signs. They're suggestions. Yeah. They're there to basically suggest, like when Tom Brady, I forgot who they played. Was it the Patriots? No, it wasn't the Patriots. And the coach called something, and Tom Brady looked at him and said no. Turned around, went in the huddle, called his own play.
I mean that you get
tell the coach no.
You earn that after a certain. I mean, when you're Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, you're not going to get much lip later for whatever you thought your call. I mean, you know what I mean. Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady right now, like Byron Leftwich is not new anymore to coaching, but he's been around the league for a while, and they are definitely on the same page. I'm sure if Tom Brady is like, no, like I don't see that, Byron Leftwich isn't going to say anything. Like he's going to be like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that Byron Leftwich is just like a wishy-washy. So it's
just one of the times where Tom Brady's like, I see something I want to do better. I don't like that play call, but I want to do this. He's like, hey, I got it. And I'm hoping that there's that type of dialogue between Pat and I don't want them to go on the sideline after 3 now and to talk on the phone and say, hey, what did you see? I don't want to wait until that happens to say, what do you see? I'd like for Teddy Bridgewater to go out there and change some things at the line, go down the field, kick a field goal, score a touchdown. And then Pat Shermer comes back and says, hey, what did you see on that play? Hey, coach, I changed the play because I saw A, B, C, and D. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And a lot of times, especially with, it happens with Chad Johnson a lot. He comes to the quarterback and be like, hey, they're leaving me open on this route. Hey, I'm killing this dude. Hey, look to me next time. I'm missing it, but I'm not seeing that type of talking, that type of dialogue, that type of communication. And I just wish I saw more communication and more leadership. And one thing they train us on in the Army is, you're trained per doctrine, but don't be a robot. Don't be a robot. And that's one thing that, they also they train us on. If you're pulling security and your team leader goes, hey, I need you to pull security right here, but you see a tree up there that's more cover, go to that tree. Your team leader's not going to yell at you. And if they ask, like, hey, this provides me more cover. Same thing with them. Hey, if you see something, the coach tells you to do this, like, okay, I see it, but I see this and I like this better. Mm-hmm. And then, dialogue that. And, I think that's something that could build more trust with, if Cortland Sutton comes to Teddy Bridgewater and he says, hey, this dude, I'm beating this dude every time, throw me a deep ball, but that's not the play call that Pat Shermer gave. I would like Teddy Bridgewater to step away and be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to trust you, Cortland, on this, and I'm going to call this play. That builds confidence, camaraderie, and cohesion between the receivers and the quarterback because they understand, hey, when it comes down to it, I can talk to my quarterback and he will hear me out. He's not just going to be a robot and just do what the coach says.
Yeah.
So Biggie Broncos says, and when Peyton Manning did it, he done it. He's seen what they could do in practice. And if they didn't get it in practice, he had the players after practice ran 100 times until they got it. That is correct. Last comment, Dave Glassman says, hope in one hand, poop in the other. See which one fills up first. So far the poop, because the hope is running out and the poop is gaining traction. So we are
so if you just don't poop in your hand.
Then
is the analogy relevant? I don't know.
No, because the Broncos are crapping in their hand right now.
Oh, gotcha. As long as I'm not crapping in my hand, I'm fine.
We are heading out NRW Crew. We thank you guys for joining us again this Friday night. We want to give a round of applause and a thank you to Mr. Boggins for coming in week 2, for being in the clutch and definitely helping us out. That's a dope jacket, by the way. I meant to tell you that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we definitely appreciate him stepping in 2 weeks in a row. Last week for me, for an illness, and this week for Johnny for a family. And that's who we are at MHRT, and that's how we are in Broncos country. Regardless of what podcast you're on or what's going on, there will be always someone to step in and help you out and be there for you, and that's who we are. Exactly. We're basically Vin Diesel, in Fast and Furious.
Right.
About family. So everyone, head on over to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Follow us at MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Like this video, share it, get this message out there. You can all join us every single Tuesday for Broncos Talk at 4, 5, 6, 7. You can join us Thursdays for the flagship podcast of Mile High Roundtable at 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can join us, Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue, every Friday at 4, 5, 6, 7. And don't forget, every Sunday, we have The Neighborhood, which is our new pregame show. It starts about an hour and a half before the game starts. I believe this week is a home game. So I think you just got that, Mr. Boggins?
I just got that. I've never seen it. Is that what it is in the logo too? Is it is there a dash in the logo too?
Yes.
Yeah. I just thought it was The Neighborhood. I was like, oh, all right. No.
I'm slow. Anyway, so I'm glad we got that out the way. Every pregame, I believe it's a home game this week, so I believe Mile High Prophet will be our tailgate reporter this week. Not 100% sure, but definitely on Sunday. If you follow us on Twitter at MHRT Network, you'll definitely see some updates, and we'll definitely let you know. So you can definitely come check us out every pregame, especially this Sunday. I can't think of what time the game is Sunday, but I know the pregame will be an hour and a half before the game. So come in, stop in, check us out. Tell us your comments, questions, concerns, gripes, moans, groans. Let us know, and we'll talk it out, and we'll get ready for the game. And is there anything else you got for us, Mr. Boggins?
Nope.
Well, we are going to end this how we always end every single podcast. And if I don't do it, Johnny's going to call my phone and blow me up and scream at me. So I don't want to hear his mouth. So we're going to end this podcast with the Mile High Five. So thank you, Dave. It's 3:25 Central. So that means that
125 PST, 225 Mountain Time.
Yes, and 4:25, I believe, Eastern Time. So that means that the neighborhood will be on at 2:00 Central Time.
And infinity in our hearts.
Yes, infinity in our hearts. That's what time it starts at. Infinity in our hearts.
Mhm.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please join us to end this podcast with the Mile High Five. The way it works is you put your hands out like this. It's a 4 count, so Mile High Five, and then you clap, and then we're going to end this podcast the way we do every single one. So,
There you go.
ready, Mr. Boggins?
Oh,
Perfect. Leave it on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, ready? Mile High Five.
yeah.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We will see you all Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Boggins, once again for stepping up and really helping us out. We really appreciate that. 2 weeks in a row, man. You're an absolute rock star. Everyone, we will see you all Sunday, and let's go ahead and get this W.